All right, thank you everyone for joining us today. We're going to be talking to Omer from Islamic Family about how to build a cybersecurity policy for your nonprofit organization. So thanks for joining us, Omer. And so what should nonprofits be thinking about before we get into the cybersecurity policy?
Great question, Jason. I think the first thing, the thing that I can't stress enough, is actually start thinking about the opportunities. Oftentimes, when we're thinking about cybersecurity, we're only thinking about risks. We feel really petrified. Oftentimes, we feel really anxious. And so, our cybersecurity policy, which you can find at share.islamicfamily.ca/cybersecurity, it actually starts by talking about our principles, right? And our first principle is technology is an opportunity. We want to facilitate the use of tech in a joyful way. We focus on achievements, not just the noise. We want to prepare and prevent people. We want to inform and rectify, and we want to acknowledge that paranoia undermines prevention, and paranoia can sometimes be legitimate, right? So when we're implementing cybersecurity tools in our organizations, we're often bringing along surveillance tools, and we just have to be having that conversation with our teams and putting sensible controls in place. We want to think about staff training. What are the things we can do to help our staff better understand? That might be doing simple things like a free phishing test every few months. And one of the most important pieces, one of the pieces that makes up the bulk of this cybersecurity policy is a really simple breakdown of how to think about cybersecurity. And so think about everything cyber related as assets falling in a few different categories. So you have data and managed assets, you have physical devices, and you have external risks. And with each one of these assets, you have the asset itself, you have a preventative measure, you have a reactive measure, should something happen, and you have a person who's responsible, or a team. And so, you might think something simple like passwords. Passwords are a digital asset that are really integral to how our organization uses its tools. Right? Something preventative we do is we keep our passwords in a password manager. And a password manager can notify us of what to do if there's a password breach. And we have our operations manager in charge of that. Client and personnel data is a really important one there. And we want to be thinking about what are the ways we're storing that. If there's a breach, how are we going to inform clients? And who's responsible for ensuring that those things are kept safe? When we think about owned assets like our physical devices, we might be thinking about, what is something we can do, right? And investing in a mobile device management tool is a sensible precaution. It's a little bit of an investment, but what that allows you to do is, in the event of someone losing a computer, you can remotely wipe it. Very simple step that you can take. And last, we talk about external risks, right? And external risks might be things that you can't really do anything about, right? Someone records a video about you, might impact your organization. You might have to have some preventative steps in place, like, okay, this is our media strategy for that. Here's what we're going to do to inform our board or other stakeholders. And so keep it simple, right? What I like about this framework is, within a few hours, your team should be able to copy it, adapt it, and think about, these are all the assets we have. This is what we're doing today that's preventative. These are the things that might cause harm, and this is the reaction. And so, don't forget that IT software, the cyber tools you have are a source of joy before anything else.
Great. Thank you so much for taking us through some of the key highlights of the policy. And so, as Omer mentioned, this is available for folks to use. And Omer, how can organizations use the cybersecurity policy?
Oh yeah, great question. I would love it if organizations copied this policy, adapted it, shared comments and feedback, and just attributed a link back to us. It's under a Creative Commons license, which means the goal is for you to copy and adapt it.
Great. So once again, please feel free to check us out at share.islamicfamily.ca/cybersecurity. And you can check out the policy there. And thank you, Omer, for sharing this with us. And as well, if folks are interested in checking out the Canadian Centre for Nonprofit Digital Resilience to stay in the loop about updates around tech and data in nonprofits in Canada, check out ccndr.ca. So once again, thank you, Omer, and hope everyone has a great rest of your day.